Hey team, just wanted to make another video of a potential change, societal change. I think it would be interesting. I heard one of my friends actually a long time ago said that they were kind of doing or participating in a gig economy. And I think that that's kind of an interesting notion. So it's where folks would work at positions for just a period of time for however long the gig is, however long you need to be there in order to get the knowledge that you need and to move forward and perhaps move into another sector in that same field to get a better source of information as to how that field works, and then how that field is interconnected to other fields. So you still get a lot of information, probably a shorter period of time. They probably do a lot of front loading and get a lot of information to you right off the bat. So it's very hands-on, and then you kind of get in, get out. So there's no time for that burnout. And you still learn a lot, and you actually learn a lot. I think arguably you could learn a lot more about the field as a whole, because you're dabbling in a lot of different sectors, and it's not even necessarily in one field. You can dabble in a few fields and you can see how they are connected, and that can lead to innovation, that can lead to some very, very cool projects, some very interesting observations and knowledge in regards to how things actually do correlate and connect, that you wouldn't necessarily think do correlate or connect. So I think that that's very interesting. It's very cool. And I think that it would... since, in some industries too, we do have high turnover, and that's kind of expected in some industries, especially if it's like, more menial positions. But it's good to have a lot of folks trained in on stuff like that in case of emergency. So it's actually a great idea to have folks dabble and get that information and move forward and dabble and get that information and connect it to previous learnings and move forward with all of the learning. I think that's a great idea. I think we could also, in my experiences, in a lot of industries, we seem to have a decent amount of like downtime, I have been quoted as having said, there's always something to do, but I have known that was very difficult to make true if I didn't have the appropriate training. I did find myself to be kind of spinning my wheels in one particular atmosphere, and like in certain atmospheres that you can clean, but I mean, how many times does XYZ need to be cleaned in in a row or what have you? But one particular job was just, it felt like everyone had nothing to do at the same time. So I'm wondering if maybe there was a way, a lot of times the busy parts of business can be at the beginning of the month or at the end of the month, kind of when bills are due. So maybe we could restructure things. Maybe we could have like half days. I noticed that in Duluth, some of the coffee shops were just open in the mornings, and then they closed by 2:00 tops. So, and that was fine. It's it's better to be closed and to be able to do other things. Maybe do another gig. In the afternoon or in the evening. So you have more broad sources of learning, while also not just sitting behind a counter waiting for maybe one person to come. There are a lot of options, out there, and who's to say that everyone needs to go to that particular store at the same time as you? Maybe we could change hours of businesses so they could just be open on like a particular day of the week, or like this is shopping day for this particular industry, or especially with online shopping, maybe we just have everything for delivery and just have I'm sure everyone kind of sees it who's a tried and true online shopper. You can get stuff delivered from your big box stores same day within a couple hours, and that's nice. And they have pretty much everything. So, not to say, obviously there are more specialized items and more nice stores too, that more specialized stores that might take a little bit longer. But if you can get groceries for delivery now, you can get however much for delivery. So maybe we could try to mix things up and make better use, more efficient use of everyone's time, and see what happens. Of course, if everyone's kind of doing different gigs, then there might not be time for people to go to the different gigs, and so that lends itself to another question: what do people do if nobody goes anywhere during the day? Then I think it would be great if folks were going back to school. I know I was a non-traditional student. I studied, French education, went back for business, finished up the French, got the business, and I would love to study probably 10 more things. So I'm very pro the educational potential of swapping to a different style of business hours, business structure. I think that'd be great. Obviously, some businesses lend themselves to such a restructuring more easily than others. But I think if you have an open mind and if you're flexible, it should actually not be too bad to figure out how to just make it work. And I think everyone would kind of appreciate that. If they don't need multiple jobs, they could also stay home and have more time with their families. And they could also, just be more entrepreneurial, and they could do things for their neighbors. So it's be good neighbors, be nice people, and slow it down, which I think everyone kind of talks about as kind of a nice thing sometimes. Just slow it down and take it easy, take it in, and appreciate what you have, appreciate each other, and things like that. And I do think that there's a lot of potential in having a more free time, more time freed up to do other things. Of course, it lends itself to more education, which lends itself to more efficiency, which lends itself to more time, which lends itself to more creation and creativity, which lends itself to a very, very cool society, and hopefully productive. I think that would be very interesting to play with and see what could come of that. Again, pro education and pro, academic, educated play and innovation. So, woohoo, go team. Just some possible ways to kind of mix things up a little bit.